Hey, this is Heidi Dawson. If you love all things health and wellness and style of any kind, hang out here with me each week. I'm obsessed with never-ending improvement, and it's all in an effort to help each one of us live a wildly successful lifestyle. Subscribe today so you don't miss a thing. Hi guys, welcome to episode 181 of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And also, thank you for sharing the episodes with friends. That means a lot to me. All right, I don't know about you guys, but I love to hear when people talk about, or I read articles about, the best advice they've ever had and then how they sort of apply it. So I thought I'd do that for you guys this week. And I've chosen 8 that I've used so much pretty consistently over the years. I just kind of narrowed it down to 8, and I hope you like them. Number 1 comes from someone that was my boss, but has now been a longtime friend. Now, I actually interviewed him on my podcast. His name is Eddie Scruggs, and he used to always tell me this. People will tell you who they are if you just watch, not listen. So many times we want to believe what people say, but the more important thing is to believe what people do. If someone says you're the most important thing in the world, but then they're constantly blowing you off, you got to watch their actions to understand what they're really telling you. People will tell you what they really mean if you watch their actions instead of listen to their words. So watch those actions and then make sure you believe them. Number 2, this next one comes from my dad. It's about the cost of credit. Now, I was a teenager and I had my first job at Goldsmiths. Used to be, it's Macy's now. But anyway, they gave me a credit card, okay, with a $500 limit. That was so much money to me back then. Anyway, I bought a bathing suit that was $85. Of course, I didn't pay it off right away and just paid the minimum payments. So he actually broke it down and showed me that ultimately that bathing suit ended up costing me over $300. I've never forgotten that lesson. If you can't afford to buy it with cash or pay it off monthly, you probably don't need it. You're literally throwing money away. Okay, number 3 comes from my mom. When I was younger, my dad would go off to work each morning and we would go about our day. But around the time it was about time for him to come home, my mom would put makeup on and start rolling her hair, and she'd be making the dinner at the same time. One day I asked her if she was going somewhere, and she said, "No, why?" I said, "Well, you're getting all fixed up. You look so pretty. I thought you must be going somewhere." And she goes, "No, your daddy's coming home. I don't want him to come home to a mess." She still fixes herself up for him, and they've been married over 50 years. Now, she taught me to always make yourself the best that you can, not only for yourself, but for your partner too. Don't let them forget why they chose you. It matters. Maybe that's part of the secret to a long marriage. All right, number 4 is from my first real mentor and self-growth teacher, Tony Robbins. You may have heard of him. Honestly, I have heard him say this so many times, but I only really understood it probably in the last 3 years. That's how long it took to sink in. So he always says, life is happening for you, not to you. And everything we do in life, if we look at how it's working out for us, we'll find those things. If we're focused on why me or woe is me, then you're going to attract more of that too. Now, this last week, my favorite daily podcast was taken down for copyright issues. I was really bummed for a minute, but you know what? It made me look for new things, and I found a couple new podcasts with some great messages that I really needed to hear. It was really timely. So life is happening for us, not to us. And that's not always easy advice to listen to, but it's one statement that will change your life if you let it. All right, number 5. I cannot have this episode without my favorite quote from Wayne Dyer. Now, I know you've heard me talk about it before. Other people's opinions of me, that's none of my business. The only person that needs to approve of you is actually you. And you know when you're doing the things that make you proud of yourself and when you're not. No one has to tell you. This is another very hard one, especially if you've been hardwired to be a people pleaser. But tying your feelings of approval to other people, that's a recipe for misery every time. Okay, number 6 comes from a nutritionist. His name is Scott Quick. He always told me, change one habit at a time. Don't try to drastically change your diet all at once. It isn't sustainable for most people. Just start eliminating one thing you're doing that you know is adding to your problem. And let's be honest, we all know those main culprits. I mean, that's if we're really being real with ourselves. But once you've mastered that one new habit, that one new thing, pick another one and work on that one next. Drastic changes are rarely sustainable because you feel deprived. And when you feel deprived, it's a matter of time before you give in. Number 7 is from my hubby, the one and only Eric Dawson. I've used this one a lot. Never respond when you're mad. Okay, don't send an email, a text, or make a phone call when you're angry. Calm down, think it through. Oftentimes, it will work itself out with you having to ever do a thing. I had an issue come up recently with a client and our contractor, and before I even got involved, it had worked itself out. Sometimes it's okay to just let things sit a minute. I've really been working on that, just letting things sit a minute. I think that could be a model for all of us. Okay, number 8, last but not least. And this is from Abraham Hicks. This one is a little controversial, and it's only because society has taught us differently. But here it is. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to live life on your own terms. You have to love yourself first before you can truly love others. You have to take care of yourself first before you can give to others. If you're always giving to others without taking care of your own needs, sooner or later you'll run out of things to give and you'll be left feeling empty, overwhelmed, and burned out. Your relationships with other people will actually get better if you take care of yourself first. Now, I'm sure there's lots of others, but these are the ones that stand out for me the most and I have used the most. My challenge to you this week is to take one of those pieces of advice, maybe the one that resonated the most, and use it this week. See if it helps you in a similar way it has helped me. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in a few days. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.